Welcome, MisFits. Pavi and Nami back again to help you crush unemployment and find that dream career, baby. And if you can't tell by our accents, Nami and I are immigrants.
Oh my god. And with all the stuff going on lately, we've been reflecting a bit on our own experiences, the good, the bad, and just thinking about how we were on the struggle bus initially when we first got here and how we sort of got through it and assimilated eventually.
Yeah, assimilated, that's a big word. Well, a lot of you might be asking, why now? I mean, we don't want to get political and we're not trying to disrespect any cultures. All we want to do is create awareness about it because we do live in a global world, right? We must learn to live happily together.
I know.
And we joke about it all the time, about the stuff that we wish we knew before we got here. Like all these social and cultural norms and whatnot. It would have been nice.
Yeah, I know. There were certain things that we just had no idea about and we just wish that someone had just sat us down and been like,
where's
this
that
is what
memo?
you do, and this is what you don't do. So yeah, we just decided that we'll take a little break from our usual professional world stuff and just talk about things that are on our mind.
Yep. And if you are new to America and you just moved here feeling a little lost, well, then keep watching, baby. We got you. And if you're a regular watcher and you just want to learn, more about immigrants and understanding your immigrant co-workers and friends, keep watching too, baby. We got you too.
And both huge sets of people, first hit subscribe.
Okay, do that now.
Because then we can just keep bringing you more good content. And this is actually going to be a continuing series. It'll be a 2-part series where we'll talk about our stories and then also just about common things that immigrants should know and then also that Americans should know about immigrants.
True.
So, Pavi, let's go into our stories a little bit. How was your first experience?
When I moved here, so I moved here from Dubai when I was 17, so that was very baby. And I went to an Indian school, so I didn't really have very many mixed cultures in my school. But when I moved here, it was a little rough because I did move from Dubai to College Station, my friends. It is the smallest town ever for someone who moved from Dubai. I had reverse culture shock in terms of everything is so small, they have only one subway, what is this? I was also a lot younger, I was a year younger than most of the kids who were there. So
which at that point makes a huge difference.
Now it's psh, 1 year, screw that. But yeah, so I couldn't really conform to any of them because I didn't know pop culture, I didn't know the terminologies being used, my accent was confusing. And because of all of those things, I had been corrected so many times on my accent, on the words I used, and the types of things I said, most people wouldn't follow what I was saying, that I kind of started going into a hole. Yeah, it was really hard, and I decided to try dorm room living. And I realized that that'll help me interact with kids. I'll probably get better at being socializing and stuff. But I had a food issue because I was I am vegetarian and I couldn't find food easily.
Yeah, especially in Texas.
Yeah, so I was just I was like, that beef though. Yeah. And because of that, I went into this whole thing where I'm just gonna go to the one community that understands me, and it was the Indian community. So I found off-campus housing with the Indian community. And that was the only way I felt comfortable. I'm not gonna say it's the right or wrong thing to do, but it was right for someone who's so impressionable at that age. But the good thing that happened to me was because I was getting into this hole, the only people that I could relate to were other introverts, other people who would be the off special kids that nobody wanted to talk to or nobody was interested in being friends with. So the ones that actually led me through school were those people. The other thing that I learned through my experience was because I was that nature at that point in time, and I did do engineering and I worked as an engineer. I did not know that I was not an introvert for the longest time.
Wow.
I just realized that that's how my path in life was, that I had to be an introvert. I didn't realize until I quit engineering almost that I'm actually not an introvert. It's just life led me to this.
Yeah, that's so funny. Now I can't think of you as an introvert at all because when I've known you socially, you've just been wow. So,
But yeah, what about your experience?
Oh man, mine was a little cray. So unlike a lot of my friends, my husband, everyone I know basically came here as an international student. But I came here when I was 12, and this was in 96. In the 90s, and especially because I moved to Ohio, in the 90s in Ohio, Indian people were virtually unheard of. Like now being Indian is, I know, they were like, I was just that hairy, like smelly kid who just nobody understood. Yeah, and at that point, like my knowledge of the US came primarily from Archie comics and Jurassic Park.
Yes!
I know. So then I didn't know how to relate to Americans. Americans didn't know how to sort of perceive me. And so now it's, you know, it's cool. Like when you're Indian, oh, you're exotic. And like now...
Thanks, Piggy Chops.
I know, Priyanka Chopra exists. So thank you so much, girl. We love you. But back then, I might as well have been an alien. And so also because I moved when I was 12 and like kids are evil at 12. Like that is just a fact. And so yeah, I was bullied a lot. It was bad. Eventually over time, I've learned to adapt and I've learned to kind of like tread the line between like being Indian enough where I retain my culture, but then also being American enough where I can very easily interact with, you know, like partake in like society. So yeah, cool. Yeah.
Hey, what about, should we get into like venting now that you've started this venting thing?
Dude.
What should we start with first?
What about your name?
Oh my god!
That is a big issue for both of us, right?
So my name is Pavitra, which is not very hard for most Indians to say, but it's a nightmare when you go to a small town called Station, baby. It wasn't easy at all because I was like, I'm gonna be all kinds of Indian. I'm gonna say Pavitra everywhere. Everyone's gonna repeat it just like that. Never happened. Never happened. I remember there's one time when I actually had to get my test back. And like the professor was looking at obviously mine and he just like, he's doing that and I like stood up and I was like, let's me. And then I had like one kid was like, can we call you P? So I was like, yeah, you know, what 17-year-old doesn't want to be called urine?
Yeah.
You know, why not? And then I had this one guy who was like, he just couldn't do it and he's like, can I just call you Crystal? And I was like, why did you think?
All things like, let's just change your name to a stripper.
Yeah,
no sir.
No, I was like you don't know, I already have low confidence. I don't need this right now. So I struggled a lot. And then eventually I transformed to like Pubby because I was like, oh, everyone can say that.
Yeah.
But not true. No one could say Pubby. Everybody said Bubby or Bobby. I had the Starbucks guy was Babi. That never worked out. So now I go by Pavi, which in my mother tongue, and mother tongues is Indian English for native language. It means sinner. So I go by sinner because it's the easiest way to
Kind
say
of
it.
apt actually.
Right?
Oh dude, I've had so many struggles with my name too. Like,
You're an ongoing struggle.
yeah, I still don't know what to call myself half the time because even to this day, there are times when I'm like, I really want to be called Namrata. Like, I love just being referred to as Namrata, but then it's just so hard because over the years I've gotten like Namrada. In middle school I got Nimrod, which I learned is the devil or something. So I was just like,
Sinner, devil, I see what's happening.
We always had a connection. Soulmates. But then people just like gave up and started calling me like Loretta and Amoretto.
That's cool.
Hey, what's your names? Finally, like when I got to college, one of my cousins nicknamed me Nami, which I thought sounded really cute. And so I was like, okay, I'll go by Nami. Except even that, people every time, even to this day, when I'm like, oh, Nami, people just automatically, there's a switch that goes off in people's heads and they're like, oh, Nami? And I was like, I just said Nami. How did you get Nami from that?
Vietnamese.
So yeah, and then now I go by Nami because even through business school and stuff, I got the feedback that it's just easier to have like a shorter name that people can remember when you're networking and stuff.
Like a puppy.
Yeah. Yes.
What about accents? Isn't that like another?
That has been a big point of contention for me. You go first.
I'll go first because I can tell that you're bowling and dying here. Well, when I moved, I struggled a lot because I could not understand the Texan accent either.
Yeah.
We were like either too fast or too slow, or the terminologies were just not something I could process. And I think it was the same for people around me. They just did not get what I was saying. My words were different. We use different terms like mother tongue and stuff. It doesn't exist here. We used thrice, which means 3 times.
Which I still want to make a case for. That is still a word.
It really isn't. And then prepone is not a word. Did not know that. I was like, you're killing me here, bro. So I struggled with a lot of terminology, and again, I would keep my talking to a minimum just because I didn't know how to interact. Again, went into that hole.
The world lost out.
I know. So yeah, so what happened in the process is that I would only learn like the things that other people said and try to talk like them, just because I was like, okay, I'm gonna speak only 12 words today, so might as well be in an American accent that everyone can understand. And over time I like picked up all the skills of trying to do that, and because I was like, I don't need any more shaming right now. Like I did not understand anything in the beginning. Like when I had a teammate call me and he was like, where are you at? And I was like, at what? What is this? Like, where is the end of this sentence? I don't understand. And then like I had the lady who at the cafeteria, I ordered fries, and she was like, so for here to go. I was like, what is that? What were these sounds? Are you having a seizure? Because I was like, I don't know what any of this means, because we say take away.
Yeah.
For here to go is not a sentence. There was no like, do you want blah blah. So it was so rough at first, but then I got over it, and that's kind of how I got over my accent. But I had a technical writing exam, and all chemical engineers have to take it. It was rough because I took the test. It was like it was a simple topic that everybody would understand. I'm pretty well written and well spoken, but not in like conversation. And I think I got the biggest shock of my life because I failed that test, and I was like, God, this cannot happen. Like I was like, Indians don't do that, okay? And we speak British English. And so when I went to the writing center at the university, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. I don't understand what's wrong with this. The girl at the center was like, oh, it's in cursive, so they didn't follow what you wrote. I was like,
get out of here.
So true story, I switched up my handwriting overnight.
Oh my God.
I took it so offensive, like I took it so offensively that I was like, I cannot fail. Like I will do everything. I was impressionable, and I know I didn't respect my culture enough to be like, I am cursive.
That's traumatic. If you fail something in college, like that's a big deal. Yeah, that would cause me to be like, I'm gonna become a robot now.
Yeah.
But wait, so you actually like practiced?
No, I just just overnight, because I was so depressed. I don't know how to do an R, so I'm always gonna make R capital because that's super clear. Like I was like, every letter, I got you, baby.
Actually, that's so funny. I never thought about my writing until right now. Of course, we're old, and we came from a time when like we didn't use laptops and technology. So yeah, we used to have these things. Children, you may need to Google this, but we had this thing called transparencies, which we would like have to write with those erasable markers on, and then you would put this transparency onto the projector so that it would project onto the screen for everybody to see. And so when I was in college, and like we had to write on a transparency I was doing the writing for my team, because I was like, oh, I have amazing handwriting, which I do, BT dubs, but it's in cursive.
I can't do that anymore. I'm sorry.
So then like somebody, I think, commented that write in print because no one will understand. And then I was just like, oh crap, I don't know how to write in print. So I wrote it, but then someone, when we projected it, someone in the class made the observation that whoever wrote that wrote A 3 different ways. And I was like, oh my God, they're on to me. But it's
you had to do it.
I never had to write in print before. I just had to write in cursive. So I was like, now I look like an idiot because I wrote A 3 different ways. Okay, but getting back to the accent stuff, because it's funny, because for me, like a lot of people make the observation that I've been outside of India for 21 years, but I still sound very Indian.
Yeah, you do.
And it's funny because my sister and I, we came here at a very impressionable age, because I was 12, my sister was 14, and so we got made fun of a lot in high school, or in school. But like for us, because we had each other, we at least had the luxury of like having one person in our corner and on our side, and so we like kind of clung to our Indianness. So rather than feeling this pressure to conform, we went the other way. We were like, no sir,
you cannot buy my accent.
So then we just became like uber Indian, and so but the good thing is I kind of learned to just moderate my tone and stuff. Also in India, we sound very sort of like sing-song, right? And so we just learned to sort of moderate that. And so now I'm very okay with the way I talk now, because I don't sound...
Yeah, you still sound out your words. That's really cool. That's cool.
So I just learned to like Americanize it enough to where Americans can still understand me, but then to where I don't have to
You
change
obviously had a
my
lot of time on your hands, is what I'm saying. Because I was like, I had one night.
I was in school, so we didn't have much to do. So, guys, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. Like we said, this is a continuing series. So next week we'll talk about some of the do's and don'ts and stuff that we wish somebody had told us. And again, don't mean any offense, but it's just observations that we've made.
Yep.
So yeah, and we hope that you enjoyed this format. It was a little different from our usual videos where we talk about very like career and professional related stuff. We just thought this time we'd just take a step back and just kind of talk, just be real with you guys and talk about our stories.
But yeah, and if you really like what we have to say, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our videos, and that would be amazing because that we know you like our stuff. We're also part of Biz Latte now, which is a new home. Check out our new website. We have a ton of resources for career development, whether you're unemployed, underemployed, or a student. This is the best one-stop shop for you to go to. And we'd love to see you next Tuesday with a brand new episode. Bye!